Welcome back to Wrapped, everyone.
What's going on, you guys?
I am your co-host Colton Hinderliter, and I'm here with my good friend and co-host.
Ryan Key, what's going on?
It has been a while. We are back at it again. I know we've taken a second hiatus this year. The first one being the problems in the world, and the second one
Yeah,
just being it
trying
was
to live,
the
be
problems in our
adults.
lives. Yeah, like we was just it was busy. I took off vacation for 4th of July weekend. Said, hey man, I can't record this weekend, and then
I
every
had
time we
work.
you had work, I had work, like every time something came down, like it
Adam had
just
work, and then
Adam had
didn't have
work.
work.
Yeah, we just staying busy,
Yeah,
and just spend a lot of time to like emphasizing, like I feel like, at least with me, like myself, like I love recording, but sometimes I'm like, you know what, it takes some time. I'm really enjoying this sunny weather. I'm going to go for a walk or whatever.
yeah.
Like just taking time for yourself, because like right now you need to do that.
Self care,
Self-care is important.
self care is important.
But in the time that we took off, a good amount of stuff has come out. And we need to talk about it. So we're gonna kind of, do a catch up as we typically do, just go back, highlight some key things. A lot of stuff came out, but we're just gonna zoom the microscope in on stuff that we found either really important that we need to talk about, or stuff that like we know nobody talking about. So we bring it up.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. So welcome back to Rap once again. Going forward, similar to CHHC, Christian Hip Hop Culture Podcast. If you guys aren't on that, you should. That's the show hosted by our friend Adam Stansel. But last week we dropped the first episode of that in what, like 6 months? It had been since
at
March,
least.
at least,
Yeah,
maybe seven.
at least.
So that's back on. We're getting this back on. We're just trying to keep things consistent because we're going towards the end of the year, and you all know what that means. I do that album countdown, right?
100 more,
100, technically 200,
and it's
possibly.
gonna be hard this year
It
to like
is.
to narrow that down because people have time and they keep putting out really really good things.
We are
And so it's
in,
really great to see.
yeah, like we're in August. I have over 90 albums graded. I
I don't,
still,
but I'm gonna be honest, I don't have that many albums graded.
it's
But
because I'm a fiend. I'm
yeah,
like an absolute fiend for the numbers.
I got about a cool 40
Yeah, like
graded.
that's fine. I'm a
And we're gonna
fiend.
talk about what's my number one right now a little bit later. But
Oh
it's
wow.
just
Oh
yeah.
wow, a teaser. Oh
Yeah,
snap.
I have a number one. It's not surprising to anyone who knows me, but I have a number one right now. It's
Okay.
very much like able to change, but it's not like last year with Mike Posner and Bring Me the Horizon,
Mm-hmm.
where as soon as I heard those, I was like, this is number one and number two. And those like switch back and forth between each other. But it's this year's not like that year at all. But there's still been a
Yeah.
ton of really, 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 really good music that's come out.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I think I have my number one already too,
Hmm.
but last year, I feel like the past 2 years, as soon as I heard my number one for the first time, I was like, boom, this is it, done. I bet you this is not my number
Yeah.
one. And I was right. And it was early in the year.
Yeah.
My number one came out kind of early in the year thus far, but it wasn't as clear to me why I was number one until later.
Hmm.
And yeah, like I said too, I think it could change. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, this year's been wild ride. So let's get into some music here. I would like to kick things off with, I guess it's kind of a sadder note, but we had two extremely high profile, well charting posthumous albums release.
Yeah, we did. Pop
Um,
Smoke with Shoot Stars, Aim for the Moon, and then Juice WRLD's Legend Never Die.
exactly. So let's look at Pop Smoke here for a quick second. Yeah, Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. Did you listen to this, Ryan?
I did. I
Did you
listened to
listen?
it the night it came out. I
Same.
haven't listened to all of the deluxe yet
Okay.
because I, an hour and 41 minutes is a very long
It's
time.
it's a lot. Yeah. I listened to the deluxe once, the part of it at least.
Hmm.
And I've listened to the regular part of the album a couple of times.
Yeah,
What did
I
you think of
really
it?
want him and Quavo. If like he was still alive,
Oh,
I
I
would need
know.
him and Quavo to make a tape together.
Yeah, Quavo
Um,
was really good on every song on this
so great.
album. Like here he is again.
It's crazy how distinct there's Quavo third time. How distinct of a voice somebody that had really just started rapping had,
Mm-hmm.
in a way that, excuse me, in a way that like it's really deep, but it's not like a deep voice like Rick Ross or a deep voice like some of these other guys. Like it's a very like, you know, like when Rick Ross raps, you know it's a Ross verse.
Yeah.
When Pop Smoke raps, you know it's him, because it's just like the cadences and like just like his little delivery, and nothing was like super super fast. It was all very relaxed. It just felt really like him in that level of maturity. I did not expect musical maturity. I did not expect from a debut album. Um, and I had just started listening to him right before he left this world, and I was really mad
Yeah.
because like Dior is a like I bump Dior on a
Yeah.
daily, and I know that's like
Dior's a
basic in
bop.
like his like most one of his most popular songs, but still like that was insane to hear.
Yeah,
Um,
I
and just
agree.
like his voice like captures you and kind of just holds you there where you don't know if you're like ready to fight him or fight somebody else. But it's really good. Of course, just see on the screen, Lil Baby again just never fails.
Got the babies.
Yeah, like neither of the babies do bad things. And especially Lil Baby recently, the baby had his time and he's kind of taken a break, but in that like kind of gap, Lil Baby's really stepped up his stock in like
Yeah.
how many verses he's able to put out, and like how many verses he's able to put out well, and not just
Yeah.
be like, here's some new music. He's like, here's a thing, here's another thing. So like he's proven his 100K per feature price, which is
Yes.
nuts, but he's really really proven that.
Yeah. This project I liked. I honestly really enjoyed this project. I completely agree with you. It's super diverse. Like even like I like drill a lot, but if I didn't like drill, this whole album is not drill. Like the man sings
Yeah,
on here, he does pop. Like it's very, very diverse. So it's kind of like, damn, like it's really unfortunate to see him gone because like what he could have done in his lifetime would have been really interesting to see. My last note on it is, wow, Make It Rain is a bop. It
yes,
was a single and I really
yes,
wasn't into it as a
yes,
single, but then the album came out and I listened again. And the fact that you have Rowdy Rebel recording his verse from jail and you can
which is
hear it's
hilarious.
so funny because you can hear him like clearly on a jail like payphone
Yeah.
and he's like Rowdy Baby, like man, Make It Rain slaps. Kind of song of the year for me, low key.
Yeah.
But then also we had Juice World with like the number 2 debut until Taylor Swift came through.
Yeah.
This man did almost 500,000 in sales in the first week. Like I knew
That
he was
number's
big.
ridiculous.
It's insane. Like I knew he was big, and like sometimes when an artist passes away, like it intrigues interest more.
Yeah.
But like it's crazy. Like I don't because Pop Smoke did like 250 or something like that. This man doubled that. It's crazy. Um, what did you think of? Did you get a chance to listen to this at all?
I did. I did.
Uh-huh. What'd
I
you
didn't
think?
listen to it as soon as it came out because knew I was gonna get sad.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Um and like his past album, the Death Race for Love, was not necessarily a happy album.
Mm-mm.
But I felt like this posthumously, I don't know how much of this was put together before he passed, or like how like much of this was in order and things like that.
Right.
But for a posthumous album, this was one of the most cohesive things I've ever heard.
Agreed.
Um, which really I was surprised by. And if you scroll back down, I really enjoyed the song with Marshmello and the Kid Leroy,
Same.
um, and the Fighting Demons track as well. It just makes me sad because both like Pop Smoke and him had so much potential, um, just to take over the music industry. And
Yeah,
like
literally.
we had this like wave of like him, of Pop Smoke, Juice World, who was already on his way. Like they could have been up there with Roddy Rich, the Babies. I love how I'm just referring to them as the Babies, like
The
they're a group.
babies.
The
Yeah.
Babies, Jack Harlow, Chica, like all of these people were like about to just
Pop.
emerge into the forefront, and like some of
Mm-hmm.
them are still going to, but it was really cool just to watch this wave of just absolute powerhouses coming forward. um and they were like powerhouses that weren't just like that weren't super divisive. So it wasn't just one group that was really a fan, and like you had the young
Yeah.
kids that really liked him, and then you had the old heads that hated him. Everybody was kind of behind these people because
Yeah.
they weren't like causing problems for anybody. Like one of them was going after 6ix9ine, like subtly, but also not so. Um, and I just feel like it's really, really sad that, I'm like, yes, it is really sad they're not here anymore. But it's really, really sad just from just like a selfish music standpoint,
Hmm.
because we're not going to hear anything else from them.
Yeah.
And like I don't believe in like just kind of finding a voice memo that somebody recorded and be like, oh, let's just isolate their vocal and put it on a song. Like I feel like if this is the last we hear of both of them, I feel like that's okay. Like I
Yeah.
don't really want to hear anymore. I don't want anymore, because I don't want that somebody to kind of take that and just kind of like twist it, because people can get their hands on it and like, oh yeah, this is what they would want, and it just comes out trash, and you're like, no, this is not what they would want. And
Yeah.
so I feel like they can both be like let to rest and like still like held and like have like tributes done, but I feel like this could be it for them giving us new music per se, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I enjoy this project a lot. I also want to touch on too that in that time since it came out, I guess his estate released
Yeah,
Smile with The Weeknd. This a bop.
yeah. I remember when they tweeted at each other, and
Yeah,
he was like,
same. We're gonna make a
like,
diamond record.
make a diamond record. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
I mean,
you
yeah.
will.
And I believe that, because it definitely, I'd heard that this song had already existed like as a Lucy, and then The Weeknd like kind of wanted to make good on that promise, like contacted the
Yeah.
state and was like, hey, like I would really like to hop on a song or something. And they were like, well, here's some stuff. Like he'd like Smile the
Mm-hmm.
most. So like had Juice WRLD been alive, like maybe this would go diamond, like just because of the
I
way
think
like
so.
it
Oh yeah.
interweaves, like, there's much more communication with them if he was
Mm-hmm.
alive. But this song Bop, it's also now included on the album. Like it's considered like the 20th track or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those are super high profile albums, both posthumous.
Yeah.
A lot of posthumous albums this year.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is a sad
Sad.
state to be
Yeah.
in. But
Like we're gonna talk about a lot of posthumous albums on the wrap up at the end of the year
yeah, for sure, probably.
for sure.
Um,
But that's what I want to kick off with. Now pivot to something happier.
yeah. Actually, we can just really quick, we can talk about the weekend and the love that Kissland got this week.
Yo, I know.
Um, and like recently, because I remember just like kind of seeing it, and I saw it trending, and I was like, but why? And I was like, not like it's a great album, but I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's just really confused about why all of a sudden it just was popping. And I was like, oh, people just decided that they liked this album.
I think it's my
Um,
theory is that because like Beauty Behind the Madness and Forward and Trilogy as well, everyone
yeah,
knows everything he's done except for Kiss.
Kissland.
That album did not get much love. It did not do commercially well at all. It
Yeah.
is very much swept under the rug a lot. He does not perform the songs live anymore, except in Asia.
Mm-hmm.
It was a treat for us to see him do Professional for 30 seconds at the Beauty Tour.
He did do that.
He
What
did.
was that? What was that used as an intro for?
I forget, but I ran the set list the other day, and it was
Okay.
Professional, and it went into some song from Beauty. Um,
Okay.
I think it was In the Night.
No, because Dirty Diana was into In the Night.
Oh, you're right. I think maybe Professional because it Professional sounds like Michael Jackson too. Like I thought he did
Mm-hmm.
a Michael Jackson like stream
Okay.
set, but either way,
That
it's super rare.
his version of Dirty Diana was different, but that's a
It was
different.
fire,
That's a whole thing.
but he doesn't like ever really talk about that album. So I think a lot of
No.
people, because of After Hours being so successful,
Yeah.
that people are like, "Wait, what's Kissland?" And they all went back
Somebody
and they
probably thought it
called.
was new.
Yeah, people probably thought it was like new. Like, wait, what is this? And everyone
Yeah.
just seemed to find it at the same time, oddly. Versus like, me. I'm over here going like, Kissland is like the best weekend album ever.
Yeah.
I've got the vinyl that you can't get anymore. Like, not the repressed version from 2 years
Mm-hmm.
ago. Like, I love Kissland. So when I saw that trending, I was like, you're
So
freaking kidding me.
I didn't do it until after Starboy came out.
Mm-hmm.
And because I went to see him on the Starboy tour, and I was like, all right, I guess I was like, I need to listen to everything he's done because we're gonna go see him every time. And I was like, what if he does like an anniversary thing? And I was like, I have no idea what this is. And so then I sat down to listen to it, and I was like, it's really good.
Yeah, it has me
Um,
excited
was
because
it the
like
Kissland that he did the Fox Theater in Atlanta
yes,
with? Okay, that's what I thought.
he didn't sell it out. Like
Which is wild.
barely any of the dates on that tour sold out. Like
Which
he
is
could get
crazy.
he was lucky if he got 2/3 the venue full. Like that's how it just did not do well at all. And then, a year and a half later, he drops Beauty and he's doing stadiums and he's selling them out. It was like the world seemed to forget that Kissland happened.
They
It's
did.
it's crazy, but it has me excited because had he done After Hours tour this year, if COVID never happened, there would be no Kissland songs in there. Now he's talking about
It's true.
next year for the tour. His tour set is probably going to have some Kissland songs in there.
He said he was going to do a medley.
Yeah, exactly.
Be sick.
That would not happen
Mm-mm.
had people not all of a sudden just this week put that ish to like number one on R&B.
Yeah. I
It's
wonder what
insane.
I wonder what's going to leave. Because I wonder if like the Kissland's going to replace, or if like a Kissland medley would replace like the morning or
I
High for
think
This.
I think it just means there will be less. Like he probably had other songs from his
Uh-huh.
older discography, that he delves into, and he's like, I
Yeah.
got 3 from Starboy and 3 from Beauty. Now maybe there's 2 from Beauty and 2 from Starboy and 1 from
Yeah.
Trilogy. Like it probably just lessened the amount
Yeah.
of older stuff he's done because he's like, I gotta give these fans,
Mm-hmm.
that new that's actually that old.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see him losing like the morning or because like he did that for Beauty and he didn't do it for Starboy.
Yeah,
I think High for This will stay because that's a great song, and I'll be a little upset if that leaves the set list.
he's either gonna do that or Wicked Games.
I don't think he'll ever get rid of the Wicked Games.
Exactly.
Um, Seeing that as the encore for the Beauty tour was great because people started to leave, and we were like, "Where are you going?" The band is still back there. We can see them.
All I'm gonna say is, whoa.
um, but people are so
CBT.
confused right now. But that was a great show. If you ever get the chance, the opportunity to go see The Weeknd, please do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's time to talk about an album that's not my favorite,
Oh,
but
I
it's
forgot.
rather high on my
Wow.
list. But I say rather high. Of like the 40 songs I've done, it is not in the last 10. It is in like
Mm-hmm.
it's like probably number 25 right now.
Okay.
But that being said, this is one of my favorite Taylor Swift albums. I've enjoyed it. It was different, and which is something that I needed. It didn't feel just like a bunch of really bubblegummy pop at all, which I was very happy about, and it felt very adult alternative for her, which I wasn't expecting. I still want her to do an outlaw country album, which I mentioned in rap, and
Yeah.
we'll continue to talk about that until I get it. But I thought this is like I texted you, I think, and I texted one of my other friends and was like, I can't find anything. I was like, I'm trying to find something wrong with this because you
Wow.
know me, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, and it
You're
was very
not.
hard
You are really
at all.
not. Wow,
But
dude. That's crazy.
this was I thought this was really really good. I enjoy like it's probably not going to be something that I go back and listen to.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those where I was like, nice, and then just kind of put it down.
Yeah. Like you
um
respect it.
oh yeah, like matter like and I have mad respect for her as a businesswoman, and like she's constantly making power moves. I just like this album was good. This album is definitely one of her best written, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was I love how Bon Iver was like the one listed feature on
I
here.
know.
And he's great. And I thought that pairing was really, really nice.
Yeah.
And I thought there was a little bit of an edge to this that I usually don't hear from her music. And maybe that's just because I'm missing something, which again, she doesn't write music for me. Like I am not her
Yeah.
target demographic,
That's
but
fair.
so that I also acknowledge that a lot of stuff that she writes is not something that I would like to is not something that I would necessarily like because it's not something that is for me. But I really enjoyed this. I thought it's very good in her discography. And if you had to make me choose between listening to this for the rest of my life or having to listen to Lover 42 more times, I would tell you I would listen to this in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But yeah, what did you think about it?
So actually, I have not listened to it. I've only listened to the Bon Iver song, which I really did
Mm-hmm.
like because I never barely heard a Bon Iver not adjust his voice.
Yes.
Because this one, I was like, it started, and I was like, wait a second. He's not using his voice as an instrument, and he's just literally using it as his voice. Very impressive. So I like that song. I've heard Cardigan. That's I've also heard
Mm-hmm.
Cardigan and seen the music video, but I haven't listened to this mainly because I boycotted listening to it the first week to not hurt my boy's Logic sales because I was only listening to Logic that first week. I was like, get him to 225 because I was like, she don't need my help to go number one, so I'm not gonna help her.
Yeah, she
But
doesn't.
now that time has passed, I just haven't had a chance to hit it
Yeah.
up yet. I will, especially now that you say it, because I did not listen to Lover in time last year to grade it, and you were like, it's interesting seeing like last year, Lover was in like your 90s, and you're like, I don't love this album,
Yeah.
and then now you're
Oh,
like,
I
this
thought
is
Lover was terrible.
yeah, you're like, I hate Lover, and everyone's like, I love
Yeah.
Lover, and then now Folklore is
I'm a fan of this album. Like I'm
yeah.
always here for music. Like if I don't care how much I dislike anything that you do, if you can put out good music and it's like I can't complain about that. Like I'm a fan of music. Like you could I Taylor Swift is the best example of someone I don't like musically at
Mm-hmm,
all.
mm-hmm.
Mad respect, doing incredible things, but I just can't sit down and go on a Taylor Swift kick.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
I'm
same.
not gonna be bumping this album either. But I listened to it and was like, all right, cool. And like I sat down, like took my time, was like going through some emails, like trying to like pay attention to it to make sure it wasn't just like, oh, I'm gonna skip through this, and so everybody can be like, oh, Ryan, you just are a hater. No, it's good.
And I think it's interesting too because like when she like announced it, and I was like, oh, like the vibe of it, the aesthetic of it, the idea behind it. I was like, this is one step away from being the outlaw country album that you want, right?
Yes.
So I think that's another reason like why like you like it a lot more is because it's definitely more the sound that like you're looking for to get. Like
Yeah.
this next time she drops could be the outlaw country album because we've seen this album has the best US like sales of any
Yeah.
album this year.
Also,
Worldwide, she's
power.
come
This album was a power move, both musically and
yeah,
because she released it by
by
surprise
surprise.
on the same Friday that Kanye was supposed to release.
Yeah, same Friday Kanye was supposed to release, and she like dropped an amazing line of merch and physical
Yeah,
versions.
like this
8
was
versions of the
just
CD, 8 different colors of vinyl, like amazing. Once again, she always does this, but amazing marketing business strategy moves.
yeah.
So
I was
mad
like,
respect for that and
even if it's
respect for the
not
album.
because Kanye was dropping on the same day, like I felt a little bad for Logic because I was like, okay, this is gonna be Logic's
Oh,
number one
oh
chance.
man,
I
you know
was
me.
ready.
I was PO'd because I was like, this is my man's retirement. You messing with him. At the same time, I'm like, Taylor Swift don't give a shit about Logic. Like,
No, she don't.
it's
She doesn't need Taylor Swift does not need to give a shit about anybody.
anybody. So she's like,
No one.
so she probably like it, if someone came up to her and was just like, yo, man, like you dropped on the same day Logic and he's retiring. If she had been told that, she'd be like, oh, my bad.
She probably be like, oh damn, well,
Like
cool.
but like I didn't like she didn't know. Like so
Yeah.
I'm like, I was just joshing there for a minute that I was like, how dare. So I was like, yo, like ain't nobody tell her. Her whole team is like,
No.
who? The,
Yeah.
the dude that almost won the Grammy for the Suicide song? What? Like,
Suicide rapper say what?
yeah, but like I mean, he went number 2, he went number 1 in
Yeah.
rap, and he
Oh,
did
he
like
would have gone number like if this hadn't happened, he would have
been
been number
he would have
one.
been number 1. And I know that, and you know what? I am okay with that.
And like of if there was gonna be an album that came out that day that to take away from his number one spot, I would rather it be this.
Yeah, I would rather it
Because this is
be
really good. It's
yeah,
just
I would
it
rather
just
it be
happened to
something
come
that makes
in
sense.
front of it just had to come right in front of him.
Yeah.
Since we're here and
Since
since
we're
you got
here,
brought up,
and you know
why
I'm gonna
don't
bring it
you
up if it's not you. So
oh I wasn't even planning on talking about it because I knew it was going to be your thing.
Yeah, totally.
But while I'm sharing my screen over here on Spotify, uh, give us your thoughts in brief because I know you could talk for hours on this.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
give me your
Yeah.
thoughts
No, we got a whole
on Logic.
we got a whole episode on this. So just you wait. But in
Just
short,
you wait. Copyright.
copyright.
Um,
But in short, this is one of the best produced albums of this entire year, and it is one of the best albums of his entire career. It is not the best in my opinion, simply because he is having to compete with an album that holds both nostalgia and discovery of him for me. So that's
mhm.
something really hard to beat. If we took away the fact of how much nostalgia The Incredible True Story brings me, and or if he chose to include the narrative of Thomas and Kai in this album, one or the other probably would be the best album he's ever released, in my opinion. Um, that being said, even without Thomas and Kai, it slaps.
It
It
does.
it is very much a case of how to retire on a high note and just how to make a good hip hop album. No frills, just body some bars, drop a few hooks, have two uncredited features, amazing samples, and call it a day.
Yeah.
Big
He came, he
respect.
saw, he did what he needed to do.
And
He got
you
out
know
of
what,
there.
too, like as a Logic fan, like, because like everybody hated Confessions. And everyone was like, man, Logic fell off. And I was like, oh, you just you hold on. Like I was like, oh, just hold on. Like, don't front, because I'm like, either one, he's trolling all of us, or two, he's still got it. He just chose to drop Confessions for the hell of it, for fun.
Hmm.
And he's gonna come back with something that all kinds of hip hop communities are gonna be like, this is incredible, which is exactly what happened, was the latter. So I was like, I'm
Hmm.
sticking true with my boy. He came back, he delivered for both the fans and the haters, like not even trying to, just was like, I'm just gonna do this for me, and then it ended up working
Yeah.
out. I can't argue with that. Like, happy retirement. I'm gonna catch you on Twitch,
Do you think
which
he's
I
actually retiring?
100%, 100%. Because at first I was like, I don't know, maybe not.
Hmm.
Retiring from releasing hip hop music, 100%. He's not
Okay.
really retiring because he's still making, like, I've been watching the Twitch streams. He's on Twitch. One, he
Yeah.
making movies. He has two more books coming out. He has like the entire record company. Like, he's not done working. He's
Yeah.
just done dropping Logic albums,
Okay.
and I 100% believe him. Like,
My
having
theory is that he's going to
watched
take
it.
2 years away and then come back as Bobby.
Yeah, if he does anything, he'll come back as Bobby, and if he comes back as Bobby, he's gonna drop a beat tape,
Hmm.
and then maybe he would drop an album. Because I've been like watching like the Twitch, like he's played a lot of unreleased music, and it's mad dope, and I want it to come out.
What was it that? How many unreleased albums did Jaden Smith say he had on his phone? Was it
5.
like seven? Like it was a stupid number. It was like
Yeah,
17 or some shit like that.
yeah.
But it was like a ridiculous amount.
It was an yeah. He has an abhorrent amount of music and albums and concepts, like, that are just sitting around that he just kind of chose to turn into drafts. He's like, these aren't
Hmm.
coming out, but he's been playing them on Twitch, which is dope. Um, yeah, I think he really is retired, because as you find, like, someone asked him like on Twitch, "Are you gonna release a deluxe version of it?" He goes, "Ha, hell no! It's perfect the way it is." Like,
Yeah.
he's very much is like,
Good. Stop releasing deluxe albums.
I know this
If
this
it
year
does not need a deluxe album,
he doesn't like
it
he's only
release
released
a
a
whole
deluxe
body
one
of work.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's only
Like
released the deluxe one time, and it was a good deluxe. But he's
yeah.
like, no, like the way that I put it out is the way that it is meant to be, and that's the last you'll ever hear of me as Logic on bars.
So he's
But
coming back as Bobby.
yeah, like maybe he's come back as Bobby. Either way, the album is fire.
Yes, it
Um,
is. It's really
it
good.
it's super good, and if you say that it's not, then you're fronting.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it slaps. I'm really happy for him. I'm really happy this album was the way it was. And yeah, I keep returning to it, but it's not something I'm like constantly bumping. It's something that was like very special that I play it to be like, I'm going to absorb all this, except for Perfect, because Perfect slaps.
Yeah.
Perfect slaps and Dad Bod. Dad
Dad
Bod
Bod
is
is really good.
Dad Bod is incredible. Dad Bod is my favorite song from that album
Okay.
as a whole. I love Dad
That's a
Bod.
good one. I
So
think
good.
so. So after Logic, we're going to talk about just to say we mentioned it. We're going to talk about Laugh Now Cry Later by Drake.
Let's go. Yes, let's talk about it, sir.
I enjoyed it.
I
But
love it.
before we get there, he low-key bit Andy Mineo, but that's a different conversation.
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
But like it's Drake, so he probably like, well, that's a lie. He knows who he is because he's friends with LeBron, and LeBron likes Andy. But I saw that picture and I went. Then my first thought was
Magic and Bird.
Awfully familiar.
Yeah.
But Magic and Bird, he was doing it with LeBron's suit in the Raptors hat, and it's fine. I thought Little Dirk's verse on it was really cool.
It was cool.
However, I don't think I would like the song as much as I do if I hadn't watched the video.
I completely
the first
agree.
time I heard it.
I completely agree.
This is not a Drake song that I'm just going to be listening to upon occasion. But the video was so funny.
The video is so like well shot.
Yeah.
The video also was just like one of the coolest and biggest, but like not too pretentious flexes of the year.
Yes.
Of like, this man literally got to rent out, or was probably given, the entire Nike campus in Beaverton, Oregon for the night. And just like the shots, the places they went, the football players and basketball players they brought with them.
Marshawn Lynch, Odell Beckham Jr., and Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Echo too funny. Like that was, first off, Marshawn Lynch form tackling Drake was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
And then saying stay off the block.
Yes, because Marshawn Lynch. And then Mago too funny when Drake was crying and he goes, What are you doing?
You straight?
That was so funny because I was like, I don't care about Drake being quote unquote soft or anything. Like he just makes the kind of music he's gonna make. I'm not gonna get 2015 or like earlier Drake back ever again, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not, but I've accepted it. However, the fact that he is able to make fun of himself in that way, which a lot of people wouldn't be able to do that, and just understand that it does look a little ridiculous for him to be out here crying. I thought that was really nice, and I thought that was really, really funny. But I wouldn't, baby, like the random babies is weird. The song makes more sense to me as like an intro. So or I wouldn't be surprised if this is one that doesn't make Certified Lover Boy.
Yeah.
It just kind of feels like a single to me. It's like it kind of feels like a single, like how Pick Up the Phone felt like a single that wasn't gonna be on Birds.
Yeah.
But it just kind of ended up on Birds. Like I didn't think I thought Pick Up the Phone was gonna be standalone.
Or there's what is it? Watch with Lil Uzi and Kanye was not on Astroworld.
No, but Watch wouldn't have fit on Astroworld. I cannot for the life of me figure out where to place Watch on that.
Watch only fit Astroworld because aesthetically. And the beginning was the sample of the little girl saying, "Welcome to Astroworld," but that's it.
TBH, I feel like he wasn't going to release Watch at all. And then Kanye went on that tweet storm and was like, Travis, let's give it to him. And then he was like,
and he was like, oh,
well, I gotta. Why?
Family problems.
Why?
But,
because his reaction to the tweet, even like just in his words, he was like, okay. Sure.
Yeah, I know. Watch was random, but Watch is hype.
Watch is hype.
But yeah, no, Laugh Now Cry Later is interesting. It also like is the perfect analysis of the mythology of Drake, of the shoe he's wearing in the video. It does not exist. It is theorized that the shoe is part of his rumored deal with Nike to release more shoes. Because he's done Jordan shoes before with OVO, but like never had like the Drake shoe on like the Travis Scott level. So like people are thinking, oh, this is one of the models of the Drake shoe. And you got Cole out here releasing Pumas, Drake out here releasing Nikes. Also, Cole's trying to go to the league, but that's a different conversation. But anywho, it's also the jacket that he's wearing when he's crying. It's quilted with hearts, but it has the Nike check on it. So is that a Drake merch? Is that a custom item? Is that part of the Nike Drake drop with the shoe?
Yeah. Do
We
you
don't
think
know.
you remember when Drake had a deal with Adidas, but then Pusha T
Didn't
ruined that?
Yeah, and then it didn't happen. Then he said
Yeah.
checks over stripes on sicko mode.
Yeah.
Drake is Nike boy 100%
Oh yeah.
through and
I just
through.
I revisited that time in what was it 2018 when
He was 2018,
Pusha
yeah.
T and Drake went at it, and just I remember hearing Infrared and just being like, that was cool. That was a nice diss. That was fun. Pusha can rap. This is great. And then Drake came back. And then I remember listening to Drake's, it was the Duppy freestyle.
Yep.
And he just started off and he said, the nerve and the audacity. And I said, oh, which Drake are we getting? And then we got rapping Drake. And I was like, nice. Rapping Drake has appeared. This is great. And I was like, cool. And then he was like talking. He's like, how dare you come at me when I'm in album mode? And I was like, fair. Not the best time to do it because he's been writing. And then he said Pusha T's wife's name. And I said, he's about to die. Like, this is it. Like, this is the end. Not like die literally, no more death. But like, I was like,
About to
Pusha
get
T's about
bodied.
to rip him to
Yeah.
shreds. Because like he went there, and then Story of Adidon happened, and then we all found out he had a kid with a porn star, and just was like hiding him because he was like not ready to reveal he had a child to the world, which I understand. Also, that child does not look like him at all.
You mean Jack Harlow? Just
Full
kidding.
circle.
Much love to Jack Harlow. It was a
Jack
tweet.
Harlow.
Yeah, it was a joke.
But I was just thinking about that, and it was kind of, I thought this was kind of funny with the parody, like the video for this video was funny with him crying because it kind of felt like the Money White crying where he was like, I just don't know. Well, it felt like one of those, and I was like, you can do that, you've earned that. But that's all I really wanted to say about the evolution of Drake.
Yeah, I'm excited
times.
for the. It's interesting. Like, I'm excited for this next piece because like he put out the teased name being Certified Lover Boy and all this merch that I've been talking about, and then as we've talked about before, I really enjoyed Dark Lane demo tapes. It was a very good project, but it's not a quote unquote like Drake album because one, it's not a million years long, and two, it just is like it's kind of like a mixtape. Like, it's a lot to explain, but either way, like, people didn't look at it like, oh, this is the sequel to or quadruple to like Scorpion and Views and More Life and all of that. So Certified Lover Boy is supposed to be that. So I'm excited to see what that might bring about, and whether it will finally be a Drake album beyond Take Care, in which I'm like, this is solid.
I don't think he'll ever get back there unless he decides
mean,
to really rap again. I don't think. Well, also like he's just, that's just not his sound anymore.
No. To me, it's more.
And it's
about
unfortunate,
length.
but yeah,
it's more like, and I know that it's not going to be short because he specifically said on Rap Radar, like, I like doing the 20 to 24 tracks minimum. I just like it. So no, it's just more like, is this album going to earn its length? Because I don't honestly mind it being an hour and a half long if I'm like, yeah these songs body. So I'm curious. I'm curious to see like if Dark Lane demo tapes, as much as I liked it, is gonna spin into a longer album that I'm like,
I hope
wow, so. Drake can really do an hour and a half album and me not be upset that it's nominated for the Grammys.
Yeah,
like, we'll see what happens.
You shouldn't have been nominated. But anyway, what's next for you? I've been talking a lot.
What is next for me? Okay, let's talk about. Yeah, we need to talk about this. So speaking of, I mentioned Beaverton, Oregon. We're the Nike factory campus. We've got a very nice Portland rapper here with my boy Amine.
Yo.
And his sophomore album.
I missed him.
Limbo. Boy, I was excited for this project a lot because I really like him a lot. I liked all the singles. I liked the mythology of like this being a tennis ball and the concept of I'm in limbo because I'm 26 and I'm trying to find my solidification in life and my career. That's where we're all at this age. That's where we're all at because of COVID and things going on in the world. Like, everyone's in limbo. So I love that idea. And then the album dropped and I was like, this delivered. It really delivered for me. highlight being Woodlawn
Yeah.
is a damn bop. I don't know why it wasn't a single, but it's okay. It's fantastic. All the features are really solid on here. It's the perfect harmony of Good For You being a lot of singing and
Yeah.
1.5 being a lot of bars and rapping. It's 50-50 together. Yeah, this is very
I
high for
really like
me.
the song with Summer Walker.
The Sir Marcus song is good. A good singing song too, right? Like
Hmm.
proving that Woodlawn is bars, and then you have Summer Walker on Easy is there's no bars. It's just
Hmm.
melodies. Um,
No Love Young Thug's verse as well.
Young Thug's verse was really good on Compensating, which was a single prior to the album being released August 7th. He also did a live show on YouTube called Live from Limbo that I watched. That was really,
Hmm.
really cool because, they're not concerts, happening a lot
Yeah.
right now. So it was really cool to see
Or
that
they shouldn't be
streamed,
happening.
or they shouldn't be, right? Um, but yeah, no, Limbo is fantastic. I really enjoyed it. It's very high for me this year. There's just something about it that I'm just like, I really feel this album. What are your thoughts?
Hmm. So I found him late last year, and like
You
I'd heard a
did.
couple of songs, so I just like I put that's why I put him on the 2019 rap, because I was like, I found it, and that album blew me away.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he like this album was really, really good. And like, but I feel like there's like something that still hasn't like fully clicked for me with his sound, or I feel like there's like part of his sound that I would like him to explore more, and it's that kind of like lo-fi feeling.
Mm.
Because this one, I really want him to do more of that, because I feel like his voice, like he could really, like him and Masego and like him and No Name and like people like that could really, really mesh well. Or like him and like BJ the Chicago Kid, because like he's one of those, or him and Anderson .Paak. Like I feel like that kind of, not necessarily down tempo, but like kind of more like lo-fi R&B rap, I would really, really love for him to kind of fully embrace. Um, and I feel like part of the oddness to me about him as an artist is that, like, even though I never know necessarily which we're gonna get, like it's never gonna be bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
everything is good.
I feel like some of like his just like, I mean, his wordplay is there, like the bars are there, like everything that like technically you can check off the list, and you will be like, yes, he accomplishes this, yes, he is
Yeah.
accomplishing that. But I feel like from like the next one, I like I said earlier, I really, really like him to explore that kind of lo-fi feeling and area, if that makes sense. I know
Yeah,
that was like a
no.
random thought, but that was like my, not like that was kind of my biggest takeaway. I was kind of like, I wonder what would happen if he did insert thing here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I sit on him right now
Yeah. I
in
think
this project.
what is cool with him that is very rare with a lot of artists is like,
Daxco.
yeah, I know, right? Um,
Shout out, shout out the bosses.
shout out the bosses. But it's a circle of bosses. What I think is really interesting with him is that each project of his is gradual, right? Like Good For You was a very good debut. And then 1.5
Mm-hmm.
happened and that was like, dang, okay, it took a step up for me. And then Limbo happened and I'm like, okay, another step up. Like it's not like, it's not like the curved wave thing
Yeah,
of like, oh, that was
yeah,
good. And then the sophomore was bad. Like,
for sure, for sure,
so
for
I
sure.
think that being said, like Limbo is a really good stepping stone to achieve what you just illustrated
Yeah.
about like, the third studio album that he will drop is going to be kind of a masterpiece,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going because when he also said too on his Instagram, he commented before the track list dropped a month and a half ago. He said, who do you think is featured on here or whatever, who you would like to see featured? And I said Toby Lou. I was like, him and Toby Lou would make a
I
great
can see that.
song,
Yes.
like, and Toby Lou's not on this, which is fine.
Yeah.
But the
It's
third
fine.
album, I might, we might get a Toby Lou or a Masago
Yeah.
or a No Name or something like that.
FKJ, like some Chica. Fuck.
Chica, yeah, it's like he's kind of just like getting himself more out there. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's worked with Charlie Wilson before, but
Yeah.
JID was fantastic on this.
Yeah.
And they hadn't really worked before together. You had Young Thug, they hadn't worked before together. Him and Slow Tie are good friends, so they've done stuff. He's a
Mm-hmm.
fan of Summer Walker, he said, and he was like, I really just want her on this album because I love her voice. And Vince Staples and him kind of run the same circle, but
Yeah.
they don't haven't worked together before. Injury reserve, they're good friends, and they just needed to be on this album.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's a good stepping stone. I love this project, and I'm really curious to see, how
What
where
he
this
does
will take
next.
him. Yeah, what he does next. How much publicity he gets from it. Um, it's a very respectable work. Then that being said, let's talk about another
Okay,
kind
before
of.
you scroll away, you have Pop Star and
Oh
Grease
yes, I do.
on
Let's talk
here.
about these.
So my truly only thoughts is that Drake just gives DJ Khaled a demo and then DJ Khaled releases it. I've never heard Drake sound less enthusiastic and less like he was trying to write a legit verse than on his DJ Khaled collabs. And it's been that way since Khaled like popped off on Snapchat or whatever, and he was like, "Have the Drake vocals come in yet?" It just doesn't sound. It sounds like Drake had an extra song and was like, "Okay, Khaled, you can have this."
Yeah,
Like he was like it's like he's got love, but it doesn't sound like he's trying hard at all. And that was,
yeah,
and I was like, and like I don't know like how to feel about that because I was like, on one hand, I was like, yes, you should go at every feature, like it's like your first feature, but it just doesn't like don't care really
yeah.
like
And
about these at all. Like I found out I knew Popstar came out because the video I saw like after like 6 days had like 50,000 views on it or something, and I was like, excuse me. A Drake video that's not doing well, and so that's how I even knew it came out. But like I listened to it and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
yeah, Popstar is really forgettable for me. It also was way too long. Grease was interesting because
Grease was
people
better.
Grease was better. People were like, "Oh my God, he's the Weeknd," was the joke. Because when I first played it, I was like, "Is this Drake?" Because like the way they did his voice in it and the way he sounded, like it didn't sound like him, which I kind of appreciated. He also did that Heady One freestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and with that, he's a drill artist. Heady One is
Yeah,
over in Britain, and he like rapped in like Arabic. So like it's
that was cool.
that was
But that's
cool.
not these. Like that is like
That's not
effort. Like
these.
you can tell he really took the time to figure out what he was going to do with that, and like
Yeah.
that Arabic was very like carefully thought out. But like this
Hmm.
doesn't like not necessarily Grease, but Popstar just sounds like he was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, these were pretty
Did the
forgettable.
Khaled beat come in yet? Like that, it just sounded so dumb.
There was a lot of hype for them, and they happened. And I don't, like I said, I kind of forgot about them. I threw them on here to talk about with Laugh Now, Cry Later, but obviously I forgot.
I didn't
Um,
even know like I did not know these came out. Like I just like, and I don't know how I missed it because too much. Yeah, I just was like, oh, this is out.
yeah, yeah, I know.
Tight.
Okay, let's talk about another album about stepping stones and gradual ups and downs coming off of Amine with See You When I'm Famous. I know you texted me and you were like, I'm really not loving this album. And
I didn't.
somebody else texted me the same thing too. And what I said back to it was, here's the thing. Light of Mine, which was his previous album to this, which was also my number one album of 2018, was really, really, really good and was really tight and consistent. And then he toured it, and then he did a movie, and then he took time off, and he was like, literally a year and a half ago, he like posted, he's like, I'm getting off Instagram, I'm gonna go make another album. And I was like, yeah. Had he come back 6 months later with this, I would have been like, oh heck yeah.
Yeah.
But because he like literally took 2 full years between projects off, unlike Amine, where he dropped 1.5, similarly 30-minute long, just bars for fun, and it was really good, and then dropped Limbo, 1.5 helped make Limbo like really, really good because
Mm-hmm.
we were given something to hold us over. This is a holdover piece. This isn't something I would drop after 2 years, right? Like this should have been dropped 1 year after Light of Mine. If you're going to come back 2 or 3 years later, you need to come back with something of that album-esque level. And I respect the fact that he was like, I'm going to go back in time to my childhood to working with his like first collaborator, Mr. Man, and I'm gonna be like KID again, back when his name was that instead of Kyle. I respected the hell out of that. But it kind of is just overshadowed by the fact that this is really a mixtape. This is not an album, and this is not something that you drop after 2 years. And that sounds really pretentious, like, oh, musical nerd, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's, I
It just
firmly
didn't
believe
like, I
why
didn't
people
like
like
the
it.
slowness of it, and maybe I'm just a hype beast and I just like his like hype songs. But I wasn't a fan of how like down tempo the album
Oh,
was,
okay.
and like a lot of people were like, yes, this was it, but I didn't like the kind of the dives into R&B. I was like, I don't need this.
Oh,
It's not.
really?
Yeah, I didn't like that. I like Kyle when he raps. When Kyle is just rapping, and Kyle can rap his ass off, and I love it when he does that. It just felt like that was something that was missing, or maybe like he was so known for that. And I understand it's like being so known as like the happy like rappity rap like kind of
Mm-hmm.
guy, but like even though he's not necessarily like the lyrical miracle dude, like he can still rap, and I felt that that was missing from this after Yes.
Yeah,
Um,
that being said, like I actually really do like this project. I definitely, though, I think I see potential and weak points where it could be better. Is my issue because I love Kyle so much because I
yeah,
know
I
how
love
much
the
he can
first four
deliver.
tracks of this, and
Yeah,
then
like
after that, it kind of started to go down.
I see. I like Forget a lot.
Hmm.
I like Forget a lot. I like what it is. I honestly like most of the songs on here. It's just like the structure of it, how long it took him. Why is this 30 minutes after 2 years? That's all like he came back with. Also, too, like this is kind of how I felt with Black Bear for a minute. Was there's a lot
Hmm.
of features on this album, and it feels like half the album is features. Why did it take him a year and a half to make him an album that's only half that he's on? So why did it take you a year and a half to do 15 minutes? I know it's hard to make an album. I know he also took a lot of time off to like just go do and like live life, which I totally respect, do your Frank Ocean-ish, whatever.
Hmm.
But I just felt like I was teased as a fan that, oh, album coming. I was G-Eazy, album coming, it's gonna be fire. Like, and I'm thinking the whole time it's gonna be like Light of Mine's the sequel. And then it was like,
Yeah,
here's a mixtape. And I was like, oh, had he not teased me around, had he just like gone out and just been like, I'm Kyle, and then just
yeah,
drop this, I'd be like, oh hell yeah.
yeah.
But the lead up, the marketing threw me the hell off.
I feel like if you're gonna do that kind of extreme, like not necessarily extreme marketing, but that like dramatic marketing, you have
Mm-hmm.
to put out something that's as good as Glory Sound Prep was.
Right.
Because I didn't think he was. I didn't like John Bellion. Put out Glory Sound Prep 2 years,
2 years
last
ago
year,
this
2 years
November.
ago. Yeah. Wow, it's been 2 years.
I
Anyway,
know.
like I didn't think he was gonna top Human Condition at all.
Same.
This is where he stopped. I was like it's fine. I was like, this is where he stops. Like he's gonna make good music, but nothing can top that.
Yeah.
And then he disappeared. It was like, I don't like the internet. Bye.
Frank
Posted like
Ocean.
one video of him just like freestyling, just like with somebody else. And I was like, this is cool. And then he was like, gone again. And then he posted a video on like his story and he was like, guys, I just made the most ridiculous thing. And then came back and gave us Glory Sound Prep. And I was like, cool. Glory Sound Prep deserves so much more than it got. Like it deserves
Oh
Grammys,
yeah, for
accolades,
sure.
plaques, all that. And like I was like, after the first four, I was really, really hype about this, like this Kyle album. I was like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I loved Yes as a single.
I did
I
too.
thought Bouncing was cool. I thought like everything there was like cool. I was like, cool. And then like after Forget happened, and I was like, okay, like this is kind of your little break. And then I thought it was gonna pick back up again, and it never picked back up for me. And that is where my issue came. Um,
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I think you made a great point about thinking, this can't be topped because I didn't go into this expecting this to be better than Light of Mine because I know Light of Mine was a really, really good album for me. Like I said, it was number one year, which is a really hard thing to do. I don't
yeah.
expect many artists to do a repeat number one for me. So it's like, it doesn't have to be better than Light of Mine. All I'm expecting is something that like is maybe like 45 minutes long, that like
Yeah.
is maybe better than Smile. And this is like, Smile is better than this. This isn't as good as that, in my opinion. It's just, it's weird because there's parts where I really like, because I love the Sun song, straight
Hmm.
up R&B. Bryson Tiller is alive. Raphael Sadak is incredible. Like, I really like that. And I liked parts of this. I love the song with him and Mr. Man. I don't even really know who this
Yeah.
guy is beyond Kyle. Kyle bodied this song. But then there's other songs on here that I'm like, either sounds like the same thing, or I'm just like, weird. And I respect the fact that it's experimental, right?
Hmm.
This once again could be like another stepping stone.
Yeah.
While it is a trough, whereas Amine is a peak, it's a trough for Kyle. Maybe the next time he comes back, he might
Yeah.
come back with some bodies, right? Because I did
Yeah.
not love the See You When I'm Famous bonus track at all. Like, it's cool that he got too short on there
Yeah. Like that's
because
it's cool stuff, but like
it's
I was
cool
like, all
stuff,
right.
but beyond like its packaging, it kind of was just like, why is this the title track? Also, why is this a bonus track when it's the name of the
Hmm.
album? I don't know. I have so many
Yeah.
questions. I don't mean to trash on this man because I really do love him a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen him live and everything. He helped me discover Toby Lou. Major
Hmm.
props. It's just, this was not what I was expecting after 2 years. I think my expectations were too high. Maybe he put them too high. Maybe I put them too high. But speaking to you and
That
other
is a real
people,
possibility.
yeah, like I expected too much, like as a fan of his. Like, that's my own problem. He also helped that. But I think like hearing from you and hearing from other people, like they all kind of felt a little bit of the same way, where they're like, oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still bump this. Like, this is still pretty high up for me because it's Kyle. Kyle doesn't necessarily make bad music, right? Like,
Hmm.
he makes music that is better than a lot of other people on the list that I'm listening to, just because of how far he's gone already. But it's not as high as I had initially thought it might be,
Hmm.
is all.
Let's put a pin in that.
Let's put a
So
pin in
I'm
that.
I'm looking forward to whatever he does next. But I
Me
was
too.
just like I was super hopeful um for it to just be better in my opinion, and it
Yeah,
just
yeah,
didn't get
yeah.
there. Okay, so I've got two more things I want to talk about
Go
before we
ahead.
get into just a topic. Three more things actually. We're just going to acknowledge the fact that Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion made Lay Song of Lay Year.
And
Um,
the male population is like uncomfortable by it.
okay, if you enjoy the song "Slob on My Knob" by 3 6 Mafia and this song makes you uncomfortable, you might be a misogynist.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, like literally, like Da Baby, I love all these people by the name. Da Baby,
Like
Lil Baby, any of these other rappers that are put out
any of
songs,
them. They
Roddy
talking about how
Rich,
much dick they be slanging. Like this is the same thing, and
same
this is
thing.
done way better.
Yeah, this is a
Excuse me, I'm
good
probably
song.
clipping right now, but like this song was done so much better from start to finish.
Yep.
And you know it's a good song because Ben Shapiro hates it.
Yeah, I mean, like people are out here going like, "Oh my gosh!" Da, 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 da. I'm like, literally, listen to a song this year where the baby talked about like putting a girl in a headlock and doing her from behind, and then went over
Listen
and
to
list.
songs
Go ahead.
with others with dudes with like the baby's verse with I think it was one of Megan's songs, and he described in detail
Yeah,
things he
very
would do,
much.
and I was
Pop
like,
Smoke as well. There was a song on that album. That was not as rough. That one was a little bit more sensual and respectful. Still though,
there
dudes
is a
talk about
song out
this.
there that was super popular where the most memorable line, like the hook, is "Wait do you see my dick?"
Yeah, literally. And everyone's like, "This is great." And everyone's playing it, but then WAP happens, and everyone's like, "Oh no, this is
Stop.
wrong. This is raunchy. This is too much, too
It made some
vulgar."
people feel things that they didn't know that they could feel,
Mm-hmm.
and it's fine. Like just feel those things. But
Yeah,
this
like
song is great.
this song is
The song is
really
great.
good because beyond like just the message, behind it, I fully went into this with actually kind of low expectations. I was just like, I don't know. I mean, I don't love Cardi B that much, as you know.
Yeah.
I love Megan, but I just didn't know how. I was like, I don't know about this. But then it started, and I was like, oh.
This is about like this
It's a
bounces the
bounce.
whole time. Like
It's
it
a
is a
bounce.
great song, like just undeniably. And just I just wanted to mention that, and the fact that with everybody like causing the sudden uproar, like, oh
Yeah.
no, they talked about their bodies. I was like, dude, listen to any rap album.
Listen to any rap album. The only difference is that it's a man
If
versus a
you like
woman.
J. Cole describing how he finessed him losing his virginity in math class, but you
Oh
don't
my
like
gosh.
this,
Oh my
there's a
gosh.
problem there.
Oh my gosh. Are you so right? You so right.
Like,
Yeah, no, there's a
I
problem.
love that song and I love this song, but there's just gotta stop. That double standard's gotta go
Yeah.
just somewhere else, because that's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Now, moving on from that, I just had to get that off my chest. I want to talk about my man Machine Gun
There
Kelly.
it is. I was waiting for it. I was like,
Um,
it's been a while. Like, why hasn't he said anything?
so yeah, because we're getting towards the end of my thing, and so I want to just talk about Concert for Aliens and My Ex's Best Friend, that both came out. My Ex's Best Friend featuring Black Bear and Travis Barker, and Concert for Aliens very prominently featuring Travis Barker. I personally I like My Ex's Best Friend a little bit better than
I agree.
Concert for Aliens.
I agree.
I thought like it's not to say Concert for Aliens is a bad song. I love that song as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
for
I
sure.
think I love whenever Black Bear and Machine Gun Kelly connect. And so it was cool to kind of hear Machine Gun Kelly do the Black Bear voice a little bit at the beginning with the "'cause it's complicated." Yeah, and I was like, that is Black Bear sat you down and told you to do that. And I like how it's kind of like you have that conversation where he would sing a line, then Black Bear would do the ad lib, and then go back and forth. And I also love the beat switch that happens from MGK's part into Black Bear's and then back out of it. In My Ex's Best Friend, I thought the kind of the lyric video thing, I thought that was really cool. Um, I'm really excited for Tickets to My Downfall. We
I'm
have
very
a release
excited.
date for that
We
in
do.
September.
It is the same day as New Hollywood releases by What Up RG. Just want to note that.
Oh, that's going to be such a big day for music then.
I know, right?
I think it's cool. I'm enjoying him not being a rapper right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I am too.
I'm enjoying him kind of like in. I'm enjoying the fact that he has found the time to tell people that he is not just quitting rap to be a rock star. He is doing one album that is pop punk because there's a pop punk revolution that is needed.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to go back to rapping. Just be calm. And
Yeah.
I was like, great. I was like, cool, I'm in. Like, I was in with Bloody Valentine because like I love what he does. But I really, really like Max's Best Friend. And I don't know how much of the album is going to sound like My Ex's Best Friend. I feel like that's going to be a standout. But I really enjoyed that collaboration and how unique that was. But the video for Concert for Aliens is the funniest thing
I mean, they're
think he's
doing a
ever put out.
video for X's Best Friend,
Yes.
which I'm looking forward to.
Have you seen the Concert for Aliens video?
Yeah, I watched it yesterday. It was good.
And now a word from our sponsors, My Seaman, and then it's just him in sailor outfit saying hi 3 different ways was the funniest thing. Hey, hi. I was like, this is like, you can tell he's having fun, which is something that is missing in a lot of people's videos and things.
Mm-hmm.
Or it feels like they're being forced to have fun if they do a video like that. And this just feels like he's just out there like, what is the dumbest thing we could do? Possibly.
Yeah, just having
I really appreciate that. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Next, I want to talk about Mike Shinoda, who you may know from Linkin Park. He was the other vocalist and guitar player and keyboard player, and just he's done a lot. He released an album called Drop Frames Volume 2, and
I missed that.
A lot of people did because it's not like what you would expect from him. So this is not rap Mike Shinoda. This is producer Mike Shinoda. All of this is just like beat. It's like kind of like what Grammatic used to do with like Beats and Pieces Volume 1 and 2. It was just kind of like his this is like his electronic album. And it's very, very well done. Very well put together. It's 12 songs. It's 30 minutes, so it's not an insane listen.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely something that you can sit down and get work done to, or just kind of sit down and talk to people over. But it's really interesting sonically. Like I was listening to Side Scrolling before we started. Just that's just one that you can really pick out as something that is like just audio wise, it's different and kind of you can be taken aback by it a little bit, but it's not something that is aggressively disruptive to like what you would expect from sound. And I really enjoy this, like he of course had the rap group in Fort Minor. This was even a departure from that, which I really liked. It's just him making beats and having a good time. And like I've watched some of his streams where he's kind of made things from scratch, and some of it gets a little dubsteppy, and I was like, oh, look at this is cool. It's just something that you can really respect him as a musician through. And I really enjoyed that. But now and I know y'all just did a whole episode about it or whatever on the other thing.
Yes.
But we're gonna talk about Secession, which is my current number one album.
Yo, really?
Yes.
Wow. I remember that's right. You had
Yes.
mentioned some about your number one at the beginning of this episode. Oh
yeah.
wow. Okay.
This is my current number one. It's so good. Like, and I'm really mad that I wasn't being able to be a part of the CHHC episode about it. Because I know that, so I won't talk about it for too long. But there is just nothing in this thing that is bad. Like, there is not a word, there is not a syllable, there is not a level, there is not a beat, there is not a hi-hat out of place. This thing from start to finish is absolutely ridiculous. The video for No Limit, I remember I started it, and then I immediately stopped. Like, Aha said 2 lines, and I stopped. And I said,
when
you know what?
Pushes back, and the camera pushes back as a result, is one of the coolest shots in a music video I've seen all year. And this is like people who made this probably like on a freaking like simple little camera in the woods. Like, it's so impressive.
Also, like him just like the flows in this, just like we're just gonna talk about the first song for a second. The flows that they both take in this first song are so distinct and different that and just mesh so well together. He also said I had to stop because I started crying again because Aha makes me cry sometimes. It's fine. When he said, "If God in control, then why he allow it? Pressure make diamonds. You know how we rocking." I stood up and I started punching the air. And I probably looked really stupid, but I was like, I needed this today. And I listened to this at least twice a day. Like just all the way through because it's 25 minutes. That is my drive to work. But like it gives you everything from like stuff that you can really, really think about to stuff that you can put up. Like you can put Who in a club, any club, and that would go off.
Yeah, Who slaps.
Like Who is like you can pipe it up to Who for hours. Like
Who?
Like you can just stand there and do that, and you'll be on beat the whole time. But the song that is my personal favorite and the one that sticks out to me is Milk and Honey, with Tony Richard.
I agree.
Specifically, actually, Tony Richard's verse on it, like all of it's like Aha's hook and his verse. Ringo's really good. But Tony Richard coming in the middle there, offered you a nice little like, this is different, but he kept up with them right away. I really, really enjoyed that. I think this just proves how much recognition that is missing from these two artists, especially from Aha. Aha, more specifically, because I'm more familiar with his work, but Ringo too. Like both of these guys need to be charting high everywhere. With like, because I haven't heard a bad thing from Aha. I haven't heard a bad thing from Ringo, and putting them together is just like taking like milk and cookies.
Yeah,
it's such a delicious thing, and
it is.
They're rapping about like it's not like they're like banging you over the head with like Jesus or anything. Like he says, he's like even like sometimes like people need a friend more than they need to hear me preach. Like, and I feel like this is the way that you can get people to not just reject gospel and like things like that. And I know y'all talked about that on CHHC, so I won't go too far into it, but I feel like this project, and I also feel like this is kind of Aha's move away from CHH.
That's exactly what the title means, right?
Yeah and like himself. Yeah, and like that's fine. Like he does like he can do whatever he wants. Like he like just as an artist, he can transcend so many things.
Yes.
As a beat maker, like he made the beat for Who. That "Ooh chill, bro" was one of his tags.
Yep.
And I thought that was hilarious. But like, there's like something so distinctive about his voice and his ability to like sing and rap at the same time and not have it be conflicting. Like it happens so many times when people are like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be rapping, then I'm gonna suddenly riff." Like it doesn't make sense. But when Naha does it, it fits perfectly, and that's a gift that not a lot of people in the mainstream have. And so I feel like if like as this gets boosted more, and I feel like this could really be the one to like really catch steam. Um, LOL, Gibbs listened to I See Stars. Sorry, but I feel like this project is really good. Also, the sampling on Soul Ties, the interlude and the outro was awesome. Kind of taking that old spiritual and flipping that like that.
Yeah.
But it's like if you need something to turn up to, you need something to cry to, this is here for you. And I really, really like that. And I also enjoyed how the inclusion of like Ringo for President, that tag, and the It's Aha were put in there like very specifically. I didn't hear any crows this time, so there was no just sudden unleashment of a crow. But I really, really enjoyed this project from start to finish. And like I said, it's my current number one. It is not. I think it's at a 4.7. So it's not as high as Bring Me the Horizon and Mike Posner were, but those are both like 4.95. Like again, I had to be real nitpicky to be like, oh, I didn't like this thing. Oh, I thought this ad lib was too loud, and like it was like things like that. But it was like this project is so good. I'm probably gonna listen to it as soon as we hop off. But just to wrap things up here from my end, I would like to speak very briefly about the Dove Awards and the absurdity of contemporary Christian music versus gospel, and how stupid I think it is for them to embrace Kanye the way they are, when you have artists that are able to produce the same kind of music and that have the same messages that are that upfront and abrasive about God and Jesus, and like their views and how they think it's important, that can do it way better than whatever Jesus is King was. And how he got nominated for like urban album of the year. And it kind of just felt like they were trying to token him. And like that's what it is really at the end of the day, like with the like, and we can make a whole episode, and I really want to later around just talking about this and with Adam included, of course, but just talking about how like distinct, like if you hear gospel, you think black, and when you hear contemporary Christian, you don't.
Yeah, you think white.
And like that divide doesn't need to be there, but it is. Because there is a difference between gospel music and Stephen Curtis Chapman. But, and this is a thing that Adam and I kind of touched on a little bit in an earlier episode when we talked about Ecclesia, but like the church doesn't know how to handle, the church as it is right now, and contemporary Christian music as an industry does not know how to handle blackness at all. And rap is just a commodity to them, and it's not, and they don't know how to expressly appreciate it as an art form. It is just a way for them to make money. And that is not to say that all of these labels, because like there's guys like Toby Mac and like KJ52 who have done big things, and like Toby Mac especially was big at the time. I think he was the biggest Christian artist in the world. He's of course a part of like the first Christian rap group, and that's fine. He understands hip hop. He has respect for hip hop. There's no doubting that. But in the aftermath of that, with like the rise of Reach and this like Derek Minor and like all of the independent artists, like No Big Deal, like there are so many people that could have been nominated in that spot instead of Kanye, that would have been a better representation of a genre, a better in like representation of rap, and a better way for them to be inclusive without just picking the biggest artist at the time. Because now it just looks like you're trying to get Kanye to come to your show so he can act a fool, and then y'all can make fun of him forever in your church groups. But that's a whole different conversation just about race. But I feel like, especially after last year when they had the incident with Gavi, who is now nominated for the same award that Kanye is. And I have plenty of thoughts about why he got nominated, because I honestly didn't think Heathen was going to get, not because Heathen's bad. Heathen is top 10 for me right now.
Heathen's not for that.
Heathen is the exact same thing that they tried to get rid of. Like that people have like been afraid of Christian rap for so long, because Heathen is not just, I love Jesus, yes I do. It's talking about real problems, and it's like those real problems are the ones that are connecting with other people. It's not just people sitting there being like, all right, we're gonna make 3 chords, we're gonna talk about a natural disaster, oh you got a flood, we're gonna talk about something blocking your path, oh a gate, and then we're gonna put it in the key of A, and then you're gonna say ooh in the chorus. Like that, like it's not that. Like these things are so good, and it's breaking their formula. And like rap is the biggest genre in the world right now, whether you like it or not. And they need to just not have artists that they think will boost like the popularity of the Dove Awards. Kanye ain't going to the Dove Awards. Just like Drake don't go to the BET Awards, Kanye not going to the Dove Awards.
No, he's not.
When you have artists there that have like put their legit life's blood and their work and their sweat and tears in it, and just have that kind of like no big deal. Like Lowercase Tape should have had that spot. Even if you want to go in the past, you mentioned Raul by What Up RG, Rebel by Lecrae. Like their Work in Progress by Mineo did get nominated, but Neverland or like Maranatha by Sho Baraka, like anything in Derek Miner's catalog, he's gotten Grammys, which is great. But like there's such a divide between that contemporary church and then like the gospel part of the church, and not even gospel as in like the Bible, but the gospel as in black, because gospel's automatically like, if you hear a gospel thing, you're like, oh, this is black. Even on the radio, you don't hear like 104.7 The Fish in Atlanta they don't play gospel music, they play Christian music. And that just is just separating it by a guitar, no, maybe not an organ, or more directly people that don't look like me singing it. And that's not to say that there's anything wrong with people with like having a distinction between the music, but you cannot so definitely divide yourself from something, and then all of a sudden, because somebody who at one point in time was the biggest artist in the world and is widely considered as one of the greatest artists of all time decides to jump in, you cannot just suddenly come back and be like, oh yes, we love this genre. Because like if you go back and watch performances from the Dove Awards of rappers like KB when he did his I Believe That We Will Win with Maddie from For Today, and like they did the whole thing about the police and black people. If you look at that audience, you have Crowder, who's the only other white artist that I saw stand up to like be involved in it. And then you had a bunch of kids. And all in all, you probably had like 45 people that got into it. And this is supposed to be your Grammys. Even at the Grammys, when people aren't into stuff, you see them standing up. They get into it. People were so uncomfortable by this. If you look at like Lecrae, even when Lecrae performs, and he was for a long time the golden child of this genre. Like he was the one that could go into the churches. If you watch Lecrae's performances, like people are kind of like, okay, like this is cool, but whatever. You watch Andy Tripoli and KB perform 116, and these are like guys who are part of like the rap label in Christian music. People are like, some people are into it, like, oh yes, I love God. Yes, I love God. Huh, this rhymes. And you know, like, there's some people in there that are like legit into it, and you can just tell that some people are so uncomfortable by this act. And even if you go and look at NF perform, it's NF. Like, there's like nobody that looks like a cleaner person in any music to me than NF. He just has that very like clean cut look, and people are uncomfortable with that. And NF is very white. And so if NF is going to go in there and rap his butt off and make them uncomfortable, what possibly could they think about people like No Big Deal, who just made a whole song called Parabolic, which is great. And like they're like these guys that are taking active stands against some of these things that have so politicized the church. And I'm going to stop now in just a second. But like, if you're going to have an award show that's supposed to be about music, make it about music, and don't make it a ratings grab for somebody that clearly doesn't give a single fuck about you. Excuse my language. Kanye don't care about the Dove Awards. Dude, most Christians don't even know that the Dove Awards are a
exist.
thing.
Yeah.
Like, and like, I'm gonna get off the soapbox, but it just made me so angry when you had people that clearly put out some of the best work of their life in this past year, and it completely passed over. Like, I won't be surprised if next year we don't see like a John Keith probably won't get Anti-Hero is probably not going to get nominated.
No. Anti-Hero is way, I can already tell, is like it's like Heathen, where it's like way not Christian enough. And because
look at it
had issues,
All Things Work Together didn't get nominated. And that, in my opinion, is one of like,
of course not. That man talked
like 180 wasn't going to get nominated. Secession's not going to get nominated. Well, Secession has explicit songs, so that's not going to get nominated.
Yeah, no. But like, oh my God, no.
None of this.
Lecrae talked about how much he like discovered about like parts of the church that he disagreed with, and talked about like really respecting and like realizing his blackness, and they're like, huh, wait, your blackness? Nah, we don't do that.
Surprise. Here. It's like that SNL skit where everybody discovered Beyonce was black.
Yeah.
It's like they're so okay with everybody coming in and doing. I was like, you're fine doing your little rapidy rap things as long as you're not talking about issues. And when you start a project with, when I was just a kid, my dad got deported because that's a real issue.
They're like, oh wait,
they're like, oh wait, this is not appropriate for my children to hear.
A diss on Ice? No.
What? They're gonna be like, oh, this makes me uncomfortable. You can't do that. But like, oh, we need about our children, and meanwhile, your kids are out there listening to God knows what, and there are people out there offering these alternatives, and like the radio, like the gospel side of radio needs to do this as well. And this is my actual last point, but like they need to stop spending so much time talking about how there's nobody to set a good influence up for kids. Are like, oh, like all it's like talking about bitches and hoes, and excuse me, I'm so mad I knocked my mic over. Like all these people doing like terrible things, like talking about drug dealing, but you have guys out here that are legit better rappers than like 90% of the guys that pop off, that are talking about real things. They're talking about positivity. They're talking about things that they go through, and like how they got through it through Jesus or whatever. And like, they're not out there like, oh yeah, definitely smoking weed today. They're not out here like, oh yeah, I sold some crack to a dude one day. If they are, they're like, hey, I did these things. You shouldn't do this. This is not the way to go down. Even Staringo in this, he goes, he's like, I've really been there. I can really show you what them drugs do. I feel like if they just would embrace that and not just try to keep this clean image, that is honestly really, really racist, like they would, like it would go better. But the Dove Award nominations really pissed me off this year. And I was like, just seeing that on there, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I'm really happy for Andy, and I'm really happy for Gavi for getting those nominations. Same. But I think it's absolute bullshit that they included Kanye in this, when just musically I could give you 13 projects that were infinitely better than Jesus King that do the exact same thing.
Yeah, go check our lists from last year.
Oh, absolutely. Like another guy that I didn't even mention, like Paris Cruz, like 2045 is not going to get a Dove Award nomination.
No, yeah, it would be up for next year, but it's not going to get it.
It's not going to.
No.
And like they don't need that. Like, and like I'm not trying to just bash this, like, and like bash people's dreams for like wanting to win one, because I understand that. But the Dove Awards as they are right now is not for anybody that doesn't look like Stephen Curtis Chapman, or anybody that doesn't look like Toby Mac. And like just, I'm gonna get off my soapbox now, because that could be a whole other like 3-4 hours, and it'll come back up eventually. But like, it's just, and that just bothered me so much earlier. But yeah, that is all I have to say on that. And then just to bring it back to a little bit happier, there's a group or a guy in the EDM world called the Lit Lords, and they released their EP called SOS. I sent it to you. Um, the Lit
Mm-hmm.
Lords revolutionized a sound, like a screech trap sound, which is like it just there's lots of screeches, and this project is so good. It's 4 songs, and all of them are so distinct and so well made, and everybody should go listen to them. They have a little like 11-minute mix on their YouTube channel, which I believe is honestly all that is the actual project is. Excuse me, that's Mike Shinoda for you. um I just like I watched them do a live stream on it the other day. Like the whole project is 13 minutes long. um so definitely, if you need something to listen to in the gym, I would grab this. My personal favorite is the title track SOS, just because of how different it was and how like you don't really get. I don't know how to describe their song. It's trap, but it's raw, but it's also like hybrid, but it's also peaceful, and it's also like future based, and it's also like dubs. Like they just cover so many things like in this one project, and so please go listen to that. And now I am actually done. But yes, SOS by the Lit Lords.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so that's I mean, I've said everything I need to say too. There's a lot of dope stuff that's on the horizon. Everyone just keep your eyes on Black Bear because he is very prolific right now, and he is about to drop the rest of his album. By the time we talk about it on our next episode, it'll be past August 21st, which is when he's dropping it. But yeah, some cool stuff is coming up. And I'm excited. I think this is a great year right now, and we're just gonna keep on mowing. We're gonna keep recording episodes, and recapping things that release and letting y'all know. And CHHC, like I said, is also back on a roll, so be sure to tune in for that. And look forward to some more content and some other cool stuff that we are working on over here at Wrapped. So be sure to follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We got it all. You can also email us, wrappedpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow both of us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as well. All of this is in link trees. You know where to find us. It's even linked in the episode notes, whether you're listening on Apple Music or Spotify. But just note that we are also on YouTube. We're recording all of this on Zoom. So you can see our
Shout out Zoom.
faces. Shout out Zoom. You can see our faces. You can see our screen shares. You can see our virtual backgrounds. Lots of different ways to consume us these days. And like we said to the beginning of this episode, it's August. So we are gearing up for the 2020 100 Best Albums of the Year list between, both of us and our individual lists. There's only 3.5 months left of consideration. So get those albums out now if you want to be on our list. Otherwise, we'll see you next year. If you drop it in December, you're going to be on the 2021 list.
You will probably get a mention, just be like, "Oh, this was cool," but you will be on the 2021
you will be
list.
on the 2021 list because we cap it off December 1st.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. And thank you all so much for watching or listening to another episode of Wrapped. Take care.
Love you all. Peace, love, and happiness.
Peace, love, and happiness.